I'm coming up on 9 years owning this Ruger LCR, so it's about time to share some of my thoughts on it. This was the second gun I bought after a Gen 4 Glock 19, and looking back on it now, I definitely didn't know what I didn't know, and I've wasted a lot of money messing around with different platforms and buying guns I shouldn't have bought, but those first two purchases were solid. Anyways, I've been living with the LCR for nearly a decade, and it's been a great companion. It's had some issues that got resolved, has had a lot of rounds through it, been the subject of many dry fire sessions, and spent countless hours being toted around on my belt and in my pocket. Snubbies are easy guns to live with. They're not the best defensive tool or the most effective, but they still have a role for me and many others in self-defense systems. And this is a pretty good option if you think you might want to add a lightweight snub into your kit. Let's get into it. The LCR is a modern revolver, an old design ushered into the 21st century via a monolithic aluminum frame and a polymer fire control housing, with a patented friction-reducing cam that enables a smooth, relatively lightweight double-action trigger pull. I'd go as far to say that it's the best stock trigger on any current production revolver. This particular model is in 38 Special Plus P, though the LCR is available in a variety of calibers, and this one weighs in at 13.5 ounces. The cylinder is made of stainless steel coated in PVD and holds 5 rounds. It uses a grip peg that allows you to swap out several different grip variations and comes stock with this Hogue Tamer monogrip. More on that later. The sighting system is basic but effective. It uses a standard trench rear sight in the frame, and the stock front sight is a replaceable pinned ramp style with a painted white bar. Overall, a very interesting design that keeps the LCR lightweight, comfortable to carry, and shootable. The only thing I've changed on this LCR is replacing the front sight with this Novak fiber optic. I like it well enough, but honestly I don't know if I'd recommend it for everyone. It's easy to pick up, but it's just a little too wide to fit cleanly in the rear sight, and I find it's a little bit harder to get precise sight alignment than with the stock setup. I think that's just more of a personal preference thing. I've also spent a decent amount of time swapping grips around, as I tend to do, going between the stock Hogue Tamers, the Hogue Bantam boot grips, and the Hammer Forge hook boot grips. All work well, all have their pros and cons. I will say as a starting point, the factory grip option is excellent. They feel great in the hand, they're short enough to conceal well, and the cushioning on the backstrap really does reduce the felt recoil, which is key if you want to shoot a small, lightweight snubby for any more than a couple cylinders at a range session. The Hogue Bantam boot grips retain the padded backstrap, but shrink the grips down to the smallest possible package, ideal for pocket carry or if you want to have a snubby with a very small overall footprint. The Hammer Forge grips use an ergonomic shape and the hook feature, which allows you to hook the LCR into a waistband and carry without a holster for an extremely low profile carry option. They're a little taxing to shoot 38s for any extended period, but I love the design and application. Bottom line for LCR grips, you get a bunch of different, easily swappable options that you can tailor to your specific needs and intended purpose. So that covers the basics of this LCR. Let's get into my history with this gun. Like I said, I didn't really know what I was doing when I started my snubby journey, and I put all manner of 38 Special factory ammo through it trying to hit stuff. A bunch of 130 grain ball, various jacketed hollow point rounds, even some plus P loads because after all, this gun does say 38 plus P on it, right? This is pretty much no fun at all. Anyone who shot a lot of full-powered ammo through a very lightweight gun knows that it beats up your hands and generally makes it harder to shoot. I learned after some time that just because a gun is rated for a certain round doesn't mean that's what you should run through it. And once I learned about the wad cutter, I made the switch and haven't looked back. Basically, with a short barrel like this one, most jacketed ammo won't expand like defensive loads are supposed to, so the point of using some of those hotter carry loads is defeated. A wad cutter gives you less recoil and plenty of penetration, so in my mind it makes much more sense than a more modern bullet design in this platform. I can shoot 38 wad cutters for much longer sessions without my hands being in total pain, and I can train with a load approximating what I carry. I've been shooting the Federal 148 grain gold medal match in this LCR for years, and supplement it with hand loads using cast wad cutters and fairly light charges of Trail Boss or Unique. I will usually run FMJ ammo with a flat nose as a reload and a speed strip, as they feed into the cylinder much easier than wad cutters. Anyways, I got about 1,000 rounds into this LCR when it developed its first problem. The firing pin bushing started working its way out of the frame and dragging on the rounds, which obviously made for a slow, heavy trigger pull with lots of resistance. It still technically worked, I guess, but it went right back to Ruger for work. Ruger was quick with the turnaround, but much to my disappointment, when I received the gun back, the firing pin was stuck in the forward position and would not retract. Rather than mess with it, I contacted Ruger again, and they promptly sent me another prepaid label. So the gun was in limbo for another couple weeks. I finally got it back and the problem was resolved. No explanation was given, and frankly, I was pretty surprised that they would return a gun for repair work that was in a non-functioning state, especially because I've always heard such amazing things about their service. The gun has been fine ever since. I'll admit I got a little cold on the LCR after that experience, but after I took some time and got back into shooting it, all was fine and I end up carrying it quite a lot. Unfortunately, revolvers are prone to stuff like this. It's a combination of the small parts taking a beating and probably just poor QC and oversight on the part of a lot of these companies. So you have to do your due diligence and make sure you're inspecting these guns regularly if you're going to trust your life to them. I've fired at least another 1,000 rounds through it since then, almost all light recoiling wad cutters from Federal and my own reloads, and I dry fire it regularly. I'm aware that it's a lightweight carry gun with a lot of polymer. It's not going to last forever, and it's not going to get past my grandkids. It's a tool with a service life. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. In terms of shootability, again, this is a lightweight snubby. In general, they're not easy to shoot, though I think this particular design, in regards to the trigger and tamer grip design, is easier to shoot than most. Ruger did a great job with the LCR trigger. It's smooth and fairly lightweight compared to most J-frame triggers I've shot. The one caveat is you have to come all the way off the trigger so it completely resets, as it's somewhat prone to short stroking if you're shooting fast. Basically, the gun doesn't complete a full cycle, so the cylinder doesn't turn to where it needs to go. This can be dealt with through dry fire training, but I've found sometimes in the past I've had issues if I'm shooting a lot of Smith & Wesson revolvers around the same time. So my solution for all revolver shooting has just been to come completely off the trigger after each round. I carry the LCR mostly in an early Filster City Special that I've had forever. A great, simple appendix holster that works as intended. A Filster Enigma, which is a beltless carry option perfect for gym shorts, business wear, or any time a deeper level of concealment is needed. A DeSantis Nemesis pocket holster, and I also have a JM Custom Road Dog holster if I feel like wearing it outside the waistband. It carries well in all positions, mainly due to its lightweight and overall roundness. Like I stated before, it's just an easy gun to live with. So that's 9 years with the LCR. It's a great gun overall. The issues were frustrating, but Ruger made it right. I plan on continuing to carry and shoot this gun as it fits into my system, and I'm probably looking at picking up one in 22 and 32 H&R sometime this year. Let me know about your experiences with the LCR in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.